Hey, what's up, y'all? Sorry I look a mess right now. Everything's been crazy yesterday, man. My nerves were shot yesterday. My car started a few days ago. The weird lights was flashing and coming on the dash. So, you know, Tony goes to bed at 7 o'clock, so I think he was already laying down. He told me to ask Kendrick, my son-in-law, to help me. So I swung by there. And he messed with the battery. He cleaned my battery cable post things, whatever, all that. It was fine for like 2-3 days. Everything was fine. And then yesterday, the lights started coming on again. And so Tony was at work, so I went by the shop. He bought me a new battery cable in. He messed with the battery. It was leaking some water a little bit. So I've been knowing I needed a battery for a while. And I don't even see how it made it through that cold spell we had, but it did. And then, so I delivered all day. A few hours in, the lights started coming on again. So I went by Candace and Kendrick's house. The battery had leaked quite a bit again. Kendrick got it all dry and ready to go. And I went back to work, and a little bit later, the lights was on again. And I was just keeping notes all night because at this point, you know, it was Tony's bedtime. He had already been in bed. I was just keeping notes in my phone how the car was doing, when the lights was coming on, when they was just flashing and all that. And I made it all the way through the night. And at the very last delivery, I was at some apartments. And when I came out, my car wouldn't crank. And I was like, oh, man. So I tried calling Tony, but, you know, he was asleep and he's almost deaf. So I knew he wasn't going to hear his phone. I called Candace and them. They didn't have a booster pack. I knew I would need a booster pack because I was at apartments and there was cars parked on either side of me. So nobody could get in, you know, to boost me off. Kendrick didn't have a working booster pack. So I called Tony back. He didn't answer. I called my boss lady, Clara, my manager, and she came over there. And she's like, we're going to try to get your vehicle pushed back into this other parking space so I can get in front of you and boost you off. And I said, well, how are we going to do that with just me and you? Somebody's got to steer the car. And she said, you get in and steer and I'll push. And I looked at her funny and she said something like, have faith in me, I got this. So when she went to push, I realized I didn't have power steering, which meant I didn't have my key on. I was nerved out. Turned my key on, and believe it or not, my car cranked. But I didn't hardly have any headlights. Everything was dim. It made it back to Domino's, and then it croaked. But today, we went and got a battery. My car's back on the road. He's fixing to triple check my alternator just to be sure, but it seems fine too. And today's going to be a better day. I'm so glad.